At the end of 2009, beginning of 2010, I noticed on Facebook and on Jewish blogs and newspapers a lot of concern about the execution of Martin Edward Grossman. He was convicted of murder, first-degree murder, about 26 years ago. And there was all this agitation among my Jewish peers to try to prevent his execution. And I remember it bothered me because I am a strong supporter of the death penalty for murder. Martin Edward Grossman seemed clearly to have committed murder, first-degree murder, therefore I had no problem with him being executed. So I struck many Jewish proponents of capital punishment, many traditional Jews who support capital punishment, did not want Martin Grossman executed because he was Jewish. Now, I understand taking care of your own group before you take care of others. So if Martin Edward Grossman had been wrongly accused, I can see his own group putting more effort in to bring this to light. But I don't see arguing for separate standards for your group. So I believe that you should take care of your own group, the poor in your own group, and those who've been mistreated, and take care of them, but I don't believe in arguing for separate standards for your own group. So if you believe in capital punishment for murderers, then there's no reason to believe Martin Edward Grossman was not guilty of first-degree murder. Therefore I don't understand why many of my Jewish friends were agitating for him to get out of capital punishment. Martin Grossman was eventually executed in February 2010. And this kind of relates to Talmudic discussions of capital punishment. Now, capital punishment for murder is affirmed in all 5 books of the Torah: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. The Torah is unabashedly pro-death penalty. Talmud is more ambivalent. Talmud was composed in a different time, around 2,000 to 1,500 years ago. The Talmud is a collection of these discussions of various rabbis. And in many ways, it's a theoretical discussion. So many of these rabbis living in a Jewish society where murder was rare had a lot of problems with capital punishment. And so they made it really difficult for courts to carry out capital punishment, and they put up these rules that you couldn't have capital punishment unless the person who was about to commit the murder had been warned that what he's about to do would bring down capital punishment. But this is what people often don't get when they jump into Talmudic discussions. The Talmud is largely a theoretical discussion. It's not how we rule on Jewish law today or even 500 years ago. The Talmud is a theoretical discussion which sets the basis for how we understand reality, but it's still theoretical, and it's very different from studying the application of Jewish law to modern circumstances. So things work a little differently in the real world in Jewish law than in Talmudic discussions.